Hi, welcome to this training video. In this training video, I am working with one of my off-the-track thoroughbreds, Dragon, and what we're doing is teaching Dragon to habituate and be comfortable with the dressage whip. So the dressage whip is an important tool when it comes to retraining our off-the-track thoroughbreds. It's used as a training aid to apply the subtle cues and aids for our basic responses of stop and go, turn and yield. And it is, it's just an extension of your hand. It's never used as a punishment. It's never used in a fearful or aggressive way. And we want to make sure that our off-the-track thoroughbred is comfortable with the whip. Quite often, horses can be scared of the whip. It creates fear in them. The whip is used in a lot of negative situations within equestrian and equine disciplines. In racing, for instance, it's used in races to make the horse go faster. So it's obviously going to create a fearful response from the horse. They associate the whip with being made to push and run faster, and pain as well. Being hit with a whip is not a pleasant experience. It's used quite often as a punishment tool in just, not only racing, but you can see the whip used in all equestrian disciplines. Riders will use the whip to punish their horse if they've refused to jump. The whip's used to chase horses around in round pens, to chase your horse around, like lunging, even having the whip and flicking it creates fear in the horse. So a lot of times horses will have a negative association with the whip, and it will be associated with fear. So before we incorporate that into our retraining program, what we want to do is assess how our horse is with the whip, and then if they are frightened of it, if they do not like if they move away when it's put in their body, or they show an aversion to it, we need to go back and habituate and reintroduce the whip, teach them new associations with it. So teach them that it's not there as a punishment tool, but it's only there to apply little taps, little cues to teach either move sideways, move the hindquarters sideways, or step back with a little tap on the chest, little tap going forward. So that's all where we're just using the dressage whip as applying little subtle cues. Or aids, we call them. And we can't do that if our horse is scared of the whip. So you'll see in the video, Dragon is quite aversive to the whip. Even though I have retrained him, he hasn't been in work for quite a few years. And back when I did retrain him, I, as you learn, you do things a little bit differently. So I may obviously haven't habituated him to the whip, like I would now. So you'll see when I place the whip on Dragon's body, or he starts to move. So he's associating it with a fearful, he's either predicting that it's there to ask for movement, or he's nervous of it. He's a bit of both, actually. So he's sort of like predicting an aid coming, and also too, he's quite nervous of it. So you'll see in this video how I go and reintroduce the whip to him and get him to start to relax, because what we want to do is to teach our horse that the whip can be a pleasant experience. Actually, I really like to teach the whip as a pleasant experience for them. I use it to scratch their wither, and that you can wipe it all over their body and they can relax and just not worry about it. And then when you teach them to respond to little subtle cues with it, they know that that's the only time that they need to respond to it, and that's what it's used for. So without further ado, I'll let you watch the video. What you'll see is I always check my stop and go responses. So when I bring Dragon in, I want to see how he is with his stop and go, just in the lead, head collar and lead rope. I always start with that before I move on to any other training. So you'll see me do that with Dragon, and then I go on and introduce the whip, and you'll see how Dragon reacts, and then you'll see what I do to teach him to relax and, let go of any fear he has with the whip. This is only one session. We'll continue with this until he's really relaxed. So enjoy the video. And let me know, have you introduced the whip to your off-the-track thoroughbred yet? And if so, how did they react? And also too, check in the description for further training and also my website and a Facebook group and online courses. So, yep, love to see you in one of the trainings there. And in the meantime, enjoy this video. Bye.
Okay, here's beautiful Dragon. So basically this is his first day back in work and we're just checking where he's at. Okay, so let's looking at his groundwork. I have retrained him. So we might just go on an angle so you can see what I check. Don't know if you're going to see this actually. We might. So I might just do it this way, guys, because I have my little follow me cameras run out. But basically, I'm just seeing how he is with his go and stop response. So we stand in front of him, a little bit to the side, holding the lead rope about 15 centimetres underneath the clip. And I just want to see if he responds to his go forward response in hand. So light forward, heavier, release. So he's a little bit heavy there and not straight, but he's generally pretty good. So let's do it again. Straighten his head, light, heavier, heavier. He was a little bit heavier. Good boy. Okay, so we're just going to turn around, but he's pretty good. I've trained him to all of this. He's a bit distracted by those horses over there. And we'll stand on this side. So light, heavy. See, he's better there. Right. And backward, nice stop, good boy. Light, heavier, heavier. See how he was heavy there? And that, good boy. Light, heavy, much better there. There we go. Light, heavy. But he's nice and stop. Good boy. So he stops really nicely. So let's just have one more go, checking his go response. Light, heavy, good boy. There you come. And backwards, stop. So he stops nice and lightly, good boy. So I'm pretty happy with his go response in hand. With the head collar, he goes on a fairly nice light response. So now let's just check his head down. So I'm just gonna put my dressage whip there. So he's already thinking, so a little bit of light pressure there. Good boy. So once again, I've retrained him so he lowers his head really nicely. Poppy? Oh, just ask him for a step back because he thought I asked him to go forward then. So I just asked him for a step back. Step. Good boy. Good. So he's good. You can see how he's nice and light, asking him to drop his head. Yeah. Back, just asking for a step back. Sorry, mate, I've just knocked you in the eye. Good. I'm asking for that. Good. No. Step back. No. Back. 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 Good. Getting a little bit confused. One more. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. So he's good with his head. Good. Good boy. Poppy. And now I'm just going to see how he is with his dressage whip. Okay, so once again, I've retrained him and taught him all his basic responses in hand. So he should be good with his dressage whip. He might be a little bit sensitive to it, thinking, so see how he's moving. I just want him to stand good. Making sure that he is not worried about the whip, not anticipating anticipating movements, only the particular movements. So just rubbing it all over his body. So see how he's anticipating a little bit of a tap on the butt, but he didn't move. Poppy! Come here. Sorry for the barking. Poppy! No! She's so naughty. So just making, I'm on this side, just rubbing the dressage whip. Pop! Sorry. No, she's so noisy. Good boy. Good. So see how he's walked forward? So I'm just going to ask him to step back, correct him. Good. He's having a little bit of a lick of his mouth. See how he wants to move? And that's because I've got the dressage whip on him. See how he's moving? So I'm just not taking the dressage whip off. Good boy. And then when he stands, I'll take it off. Good boy. So I don't want him to anticipate movements. And then just see how when I've brought the dressage whip up, he's anticipating it. Good. So just letting him. And he's just given me a bit of a sigh there. Good boy. So I take it off once he stands still. Give him a pat on the head, stroke on the head, I should say. Good boy. I'm going to sit it on him again. Good. So, and just I'm giving him a rub over with the dressage whip. There, because it's only, I want him to be comfortable with the dressage whip on his body, okay? And it's only really specific aids that I give him with the dressage whip with little taps. Other than that, he just want him to just not be worried about the dressage whip. Good boy. Poppy, 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 you're going to get a smack. See how he's just moving, so I just, that's, so I just correct him. Okay, so see how he's sort of, so I keep the dressage whip on him. And if he keeps moving, I just wait for him to, good. And give him a scratch when he stands. And just, if he keeps swinging. So this is his stop response is not very consolidated. Good boy, good boy. So he's sort of anticipating a cue from the dressage whip. So I'm not even going to use the dressage whip on him today. I'm just going to get him used to it. As I said, he's been out of work for 3 years. Yeah. See how when I'm putting it on his legs, he's wanting to move. Anticipate, a little bit worried about it. There, good boy. Good. So I'm just really habituating him to the dressage whip. There. Okay, so he's a little bit, it's more anticipation of the dressage whip, probably some memories from racing as well. Even though he's been retrained, you know, they never forget their memories. Probably may have been, you know, racing, well, whips are used in racing and in track work and chase. They're quite often, you know, lunging whips and things like that. So just letting him know that's the boy. Letting him know it's all okay. Yeah. Yep. So I wouldn't say, because I can see that he's a little bit worried. See, once again, I've got the dressage whip on his shoulder and he's moving, release, good. And then when so I'm just going, not taking the dressage whip off when he moves. Good boy. And then I take it off when he stands and he's relaxed. Yeah, so I would not move anymore. I wouldn't progress with him with the dressage whip. Okay, with asking any aids, any responses until I can see him just nice and relaxed with the dressage whip. So he's just having a little bit of a lick. See how when I put it down on his legs, he's wanting to move. So I don't take the dressage whip away. I just ask him to stand. That's it, good boy. And leave it there, let him get habituated to it. And then when he stands, I move it away and then put it on him again. Good. Good boy. See, and just wanting him to relax. Don't want him to be hypersensitive to the dressage whip, anticipating. See how I've put it on his chest and he's moving? So I'm just going to leave it there. Good. There, good. When he stands, I take it away. Okay, so he realises that when he stands, the whip goes away. So it's a little bit of habituation to the whip. So I don't know if you heard that, but he just gave a bit of a sigh. Okay, so he's starting to relax. So that's it, good. It's cold, isn't it, Dragon? So just asking him to see how he's moving. So this is his stop. He's got his bum to you guys. But see, I took the whip away when he stood. So if I took the whip away when he was moving, he would associate the whip going, okay, being removed if he moves his legs. Poppy? So And I don't want him to move his legs when the whip is just randomly on his body, okay? I only want him to move his legs when I'm asking for cues. So I can feel he wants to move again. Okay, and what I might do with the whip is, quite often what I do is just find little scratchy spots with it. If I scratch them around the wither. So it's a bit like habituation, getting them used to the stimuli. Hey, getting them used to the dressage whip there. So he's getting a little bit relaxed now because I'm using the dressage whip to just scratch his wither. He's still having a little bit of a lick and a chew. So he's sort of processing what's happening. He's like, okay, let me just work all of this out. Do I stand? Do I move? So I've got to be very clear with him, you know, what I'm wanting, what I'm asking of him. And I'm asking him to just stand there and get used to the whip just touching his body. Good boy. And then he's standing there nice and relaxed, so I'm just going to take the whip away and just give him a scratch. Good boy. What a good boy. You're a very clever boy, aren't you? Hey? Yeah, now he's going for a little bit of a sleep. Poppy, stop being so noisy. So see how he just went to walk? Oh, I could feel him want to move, and I'm just like, good. Good boy. So see, he stood. So I can feel he's just a little bit on edge. And just working out. So he's working out what all this, you know, see, good. So he was thinking of moving. Good boy. And I take it off because he stood. Good boy. So see, he didn't move, so I took the dressage whip off him. So I'm getting him habituated, just the dressage being around. Okay, and even just standing here holding it, okay, having it up in the air, I can feel he wants to move just by seeing it in my hand. So I'm just, see how he's wanting to move, anticipating being chased with the whip or just being tapped or something like that. Good boy. So I just want to randomly see how he's moving again. So I'm just going to ask him to step back, correct him. There, and just one more step back. Good boy. Yeah, so just want him to be very not worried about the whip. And just there. But I'm not going to start flinging it around, or, you know, so you just get a horse. You see quite often, it's called flooding, so you really throwing a lot of stimuli at the horse. So you quite often see horses being bagged down, horses that are being educated under saddle. And it's, you know, it's a little bit the stimuli, and they're just made to stand there and put up with the stimuli. So you don't want to do that. You just want to be very gradual. You want to keep the horse's arousal levels low. You don't want them to get anxious, if possible. So see how with Dragon I'm not really, you know, I'm just sitting the whip on his back. I'm not really stressing him out. I'm just holding it here. I'm not swinging it around. I'm not, you know, making him stand there while I fling it through the air. Just that. Good boy. And that's enough today. Okay, so that's enough with him. I'm happy. He's having a little lick. He's relaxed. Good boy. Yeah. So I'll do some in-hand work with him every day, and we'll just I'll show you the process of just bringing him back into work. And I don't know how he's going to be. I know he's quiet. I hopped on him and rode him. He's quiet. But he was a little bit, you know, you know, I haven't been ridden for a while. But you can see, even though he's a lovely quiet horse, he's been a little bit worried about the whip. So I just want to have it in his environment, sort of here, which is his environment, okay, and get him to understand that it's not a threatening thing. It's basically an extension of my hand, and he's not, you know, I don't want him to worry about it. So there's session 1 with Dragon. See you in the next video. Good boy.